What's up, YouTube fam? It's Dark Angel's Journey, and I'm Shakira. It is exactly almost 9 o'clock. Got a few more seconds before 9 o'clock, but I also wanted to make sure I would be live on time since I had to move this to Sunday because I had some errands yesterday. So, yay! Anyway, I am excited to do some reviews on the trades that I took this week, of which there are only two, and they both occurred on Friday. Very busy week, sadly. But there was also a lot of setups that that my setup specifically did not show up as much as I would like. So I'm gonna start off with looking at the trades that I took on Friday, and then we'll take a look at the rest of the week potential trade setups as well. In the meantime, I am also getting my Thinkorswim set up in the background just to make sure that I am not, well, I will be able to do the forward testing the way I want to do the forward testing. So we'll start off with trading view for the moment. What? Seriously? Hold on. I think from the last Thinkorswim, yeah, okay. But still not closing the, oh my God, it still has that position open from the last time we were doing this. Wow, that is incredible that it's still doing that. It won't let me close it still. What? Here, let me show you the insanity. Let me switch screens. Oh my God, I can't believe this. From like last week, it's still, it's still going. Oh, is that the wrong window? It's my YouTube window, my bad. Let's go back here. Where's my Thinkorswim window? Why is it not? It's not visible. Wow, okay. Can I just close this, please? Did that close it? No, it just added a position. Seriously? Come on, flatten. What is happening? Why is this happening? Why can't this thing just close itself out? Hold on. It's not able to see my Thinkorswim app for some reason, and I can't close this position. Let's pause. Let's pause that and let's do a reset account. Okay, wow. Resetting it is the only way I was able to get it to stop. Wow, that was a bit much. Anyway, I need to figure out why I can't see my Thinkorswim on OBS right quick, because it is most definitely not showing up. And I would like the second half of this to be my normal, test things out and make sure they all work. So bear with me for a hot second. There we go. All right, cool, 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 cool. Now I can switch it out. Beautiful. All right, so let's nip back into NQ for the moment, and let's take a look at the trades that I took and do a little bit of a review because I noticed something after I took this trade. I noticed something that I didn't have the correct fair value, well, one of the correct fair value gaps noted. So I was looking at this one, I believe. No, I think I was looking at a 5-minute one. Sorry about that. Hold on. Let's get rid of that. So let's do this. Oh, and let's not make myself so big so I can see stuff, right? Or you can see stuff. So let's get tiny. All right. So let me check, because I had a fair value gap I was using for, uh, hey, Maddie. Maddie the baddie has joined the stream. Hey, pretty girl. Ooh, we got her flop on. Hi, pretty. Who's a beautiful girl? Really? She's all about making them biscuits. Anyway, so I was looking at a particular fair value gap that had been holding price up, and I do like to like break across the channels just to make sure I'm seeing what I need to see. So let me take a look at my journal here and make sure I've got the right one. Because now that I'm reviewing it, I was noticing a different fair value gap that was better suited for the setup. But that's the thing, right? Like sometimes you just don't know which is which. You just don't know, and sometimes it can come get you. Maddie, why are you doing that? You're literally pushing yourself off of my lap. I'm just waiting for my. These are not meant for making biscuits, little girl. Biscuits, kitties. Oh, goodness. So let me see. Yeah, it was definitely pushing all the way across. So it might have been on the 15 minutes. So let's check that. Because I'm always looking for the fair value gap that makes the most sense for these setups. So let's highlight this one. And let's see here. I'll be looking for a fair value gap that's been used over and over again to hold price up. So right here we have one. So let's see if that was what was helping me out on Friday for this setup. Perhaps make sure it's good to go. Oh my goodness, this kitty, man. She's in full purr mode and it's okay. So I like this one. Tap and go, tap and go. Let's see if this is what we're looking at. And this one, it would have been a bullish fair value gap. So I gotta say, like, doing these has really helped me. The last time I was green on my account, no, that wasn't it. But it was one that was cutting across. Odd. Odd that I'm not sure which. Hmm, whatever. Anyway, so that's not the right attitude, I suppose. Anyway, so looking through all of this. Oh, no, okay. So I was looking for a shift in structure. So we dropped a bunch. There's a 1 hour liquidity they'd taken right around here. They took it here and then took it a second time, which I like to see. And then they shifted the first time. I was like, okay, great. So I'm waiting for a second stage shift to give me an entry, right? I didn't like this wick, but I did like this version. Now, I was thinking, and usually I don't like to take trades when there's a fair value gap below. My preferred entry was down here, but I did take it here in case they, with this big candle, they wanted to keep running to, go up that way, but that's not really what happened, right? I got stopped out on that first attempt. So when it started coming back down, and I should have been paying attention to this fair value gap at the time, I was not, but it's something that I noticed. If I've been paying attention to this fair value gap, then, you know, I probably would have waited for them to come back down into this. Maddie, so you want to be in my lap, but you're pushing me away and you're doing biscuits. Great. Anyway, so second entry was here. And I really like this one. This is where I wanted my entry, but I don't know. broke one of my rules and took that one. So, and also I had a Fair Value Gap up there that I was watching. It was at the very top of it for an entry, so it wasn't a bad play, technically. Anyway, I started coming back down to here. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get back in. So I did. And then that ensued the most annoying back and forth, the most annoying back and forth until, you know, I locked in about 590 when and got stopped out on this candle right here. And that's fine. But, if I'd just left, took the entry, set my stop under here and just waited, it looked like I would have got my full run around midday. So that would have put me in that, sorry, cat hair. That would have put me in this trade for a good, that was 1050, about an hour, 10 minutes to make about, what, $1,000 on one mini? Yeah. I don't know, man. It's crazy. Anyway, so I realized as I'm looking at this now, I could have ignored the other one and then the other fair value gap, of which I can't find anymore, and utilized this one because all of this sort of like works. So if they, busted through and came back in, I wouldn't have taken this if I'd been using this fair value gap. Huh. My laptop is moving a little slowly. Let me check. I was thinking I should have rebooted this before I started the live, but it was definitely a very good trade, very good setup. But, I think as traders, we need to be a lot more, that's what I'm looking for. We need to be a lot more patient with these trades. And I'm not a huge fan of, not the biggest fan of being in trades for an hour or more, something I need to get comfortable with. But if I had with this entry, I would have gotten what I needed out of that trade, no problem. Anyway, so I'm gonna switch over to Thinkorswim and let me see what can I do to reduce the lag I'm seeing on my laptop. Oh, cat hair. Maddie is like on my lap and she is full of cat hair. Aren't you, baby girl? Yes, you are. Yeah, abundance. What's happening, man? How's it going? Did you have a good week of trading? I was feeling a little like left out because, I was watching Wolfie and Debt trade all week and, I was either too busy to take a trade or just too, man, work gets in the way, no joke. Or just my setup did not show up. So this is the trade I ended up taking on Friday. And that netted me a decent return. I was trailing my stop kind of tight here. I was looking for this full pull, but as I was just saying, as traders, we need to be more patient. And if I'd wanted this full return, I would have had to wait about an hour 10 for it to actually show up, for it to give me my full return. It's a little salty that it came up this high. I was stopped out already, but still salty, and then it returned back down. And then it finally wanted to just like finish the move up. And what I could have done instead was, once I got tagged in and it ran up, I could have just left my stop like below this low and then ran out. But I have a thing about not. I try my best. Like if my profits are over um 500, I try to lock it in no matter what because I've had too many scenarios where when I don't take my base hits, sometimes my full TP doesn't get hit. Also, there is a kitty on my lap being super adorable, and she's enjoying the lap time. So my only hand that's free is this one. So hi, Maddie. Say hi. This is the Maddie. Look at them legs. Who's got the sexy legs? Okay, they're not sexy. She's a child. Yeah. So my constant companion throughout the day. lots of biscuits. Come here, what's on your face? Lots of biscuits to be had. Anyway, I did get stopped out before because I had a different Fair Value Gap, which is odd. Just got a really nice backup office space to trade. Going to go spend some time setting it up some more. How adorable. Hey, it's good to have your own space for trading. I got a second desk, separate, so I could separate my work stuff from my trading stuff, even though it's like kind of weird because I'm sliding, from desk to desk in the chair. But they're both standing desks, so I can just raise them and just walk between. So when I'm trying to trade, I just focus on that. And yes, Maddie is super adorable and cute. And my baby. She's a baby. She's 6 months old now. Aren't you, baby? 6 months old and full of energy. Not right now, though. She wants to be babied. I think she wants to sleep. Come on. We finish sleep? Oh. I'm gonna need to brush her because cat hair is a real thing. Anyway, back to the trading. So I was feeling a little left out this week because I wasn't finding, okay, great. And I got a little kitty free time. Oh my gosh, she's getting so big and much heavier than when she was like a little baby. It's so crazy. I can't believe it. Right, so I didn't get any trades in except for Friday. Um, with this, with the two trades that I took. So one loss to start and one win. And oddly enough, when I took the long here, I had a different fair value gap that was, price had been dancing around. It raised above it. And then, I usually don't like to take those, but especially if there's a fair value gap, an open fair value gap below. But I took it because I thought, they might want to just run, which I've seen. So I thought I'd give it a try. So I got stopped out. That's fine. And then we're coming back down to where I actually wanted a real entry, because I was looking for a two-stage shift in structure. So we had sweep of liquidity. Maddie, this girl trying to come around on my desk. What are you doing? Okay. All right. What are we doing? Oh, we're flopping. Okay. She likes to do this little flop. And then she starts doing her little kneading. Anyway, there was some 1 hour liquidity down here. I swept it in this initial space here. I love it when they do a second stage sweep because this was wicked, right? I like a body when they sweep it. And then first stage shift right here. I'm waiting for a second stage shift for confirmation that they're not going to continue going back down, at least not right now. So I got that here, but it was weak. I like that. So I waited and they gave me another one here. And then so I took one here, stopped out, and then this is the entry I really wanted because this scares me. Like whenever there's an empty fair value gap below, it scares me. If this had been filled in, then I'd have way more confidence in this one. But I was like, you know what? Stop being a big baby. Take the trade. So I did. That's fine. So 185 loss here, 190 win here from this entry. And as I said, as traders, we need to be more patient. So, if I just set my stop to break even, I would have got my full 210 run. But that's all right. That's all right. All right. And then I was looking at the PM. Look at this thing, right? So I love fair value gaps where they're being used for support, right? And then when they're like, this is a bearish fair value gap, and they were using it as a bearish fair value gap until they busted above it and then dropped back in and then used it as support to continue up. So when they busted below it again, I didn't trade this. I had closed out for the day. I was like, I don't care about nothing. But when I came back to look at it, and it's really good to analyze these because they really do help me understand like areas where I could have potentially taken a setup, right? So when they busted past it here, like juicily, right? Again, if I was thinking about going long in this scenario, like they took this out, sure. But if they were gonna give me some kind of shift, they would have had to set it up like this, right? Like bust through the liquidity, make a make a high here, bust below it again, and then take that high. They didn't do that here. They just kind of ran back up to this space and then wicked into it. And then so I was like, oh well, I mean, if I'm being honest, that's a beautiful setup right there, right? So I was I was checking my setup and my TP and stop loss and stuff just to see if this would have worked if I had taken it because again they're coming back to a fair value gap that's been used multiple times. And now it's been reclaimed as a bearish fair value gap. So once it popped back up into it with this big drop, you could potentially look for additional shorts. So I was like, oh well, once it did this and dropped, like an entry at the bottom of this order block would work. Look at that. I was like, okay, yeah, that would have worked. I wasn't looking at the charts, if I'm being honest with you, but it would have worked. And it would have been much cleaner than the one that I attempted, the long I attempted, and it wouldn't have taken like an hour, 10 minutes like this one would have. I was too lazy to wait an hour, 10 minutes. So I took about half of my TP on that one, but I'm happy. What that means for me is that October has started with positive note. Yes, I took an initial loss, but I got over my fear of taking my preferred entry here, which is nice. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was salty as hell because I had a fair value gap set up here, one that had been used for this for a similar scenario where it was used for support, and I was waiting for it to get broken through right where this candle was. It was the news candle, and I was waiting. I had like I was waiting. I was like, stop. You can ask Bob and Wolfie. I was in the chat like, no, stop running. Wait until after the news. Give me 1 minute, literally one freaking minute. And it did not. As soon as 10 o'clock hit right here, bam, I was like, come on. And that would have been a beautiful 210 point trade. Those types of things irritate the hell out of me. Because I have this rule about not trading exactly when news comes out. You know what I'm saying? Because it can really kick you in the booty. It can kick you in the booty. Sleeping kid. Anyway, so let's nip. So I just wanted to share that frustration. You should have seen me. I was just like, come on, that would have been my one trade. Then I had to wait for this, and then it just got more choppy afterwards. Like come on. Like once I got in here, I was like, seriously? Because I was like, I'm gonna move my stop when it takes this out. So I was waiting, 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 tap, waiting, waiting, waiting. Finally was able to move it. Then I was like, you know what? This was up like 600-700 bucks. I was like, I'm gonna put it right here and just call it a day. I'm not gonna sit through it more chop. Which look, they absolutely would have wanted me to sit through an hour and 10 minutes of chop. Anyway, let's nip over to Thinkorswim and then let's grab a day and start looking at the potential trading opportunities. Okay, so I reset everything on the on-demand feature here because for whatever reason it would not let me. I don't know if you were here last week, but it literally had the I don't know if you remember, I couldn't close a trade at one point. I couldn't close the trade. So I was just like, I had to reset it to get it to just stop. It was still open. I was like, what the heck? All right. So since I wasn't able to trade this week at all, except for Friday, so let's like nip over into, let's see what Monday. Let's take a look at Monday morning. And was that the 29th? Yeah. Let's see what we got for Monday morning. And let's zoom in. Come on. Auto zoom for there. Now, let me tell you something about all-time highs. I can't stand them, okay? Trading all-time highs, basically equates to I need to go long, I need to go long, I need to go long. But how? What pullbacks make the most sense? These are the types of things that really, really irk me. Like and generally most of the time just don't touch it because I don't know where we're going. I don't know why, I don't know how we're gonna get there. None of that. So, things that I normally do, before I start the trading session. So, come to 15, 1 hour, 4 hour daily, and then I start marking out where the liquidity is, right? So, here, super simple, close by, easy to track liquidity right here. So I don't usually trade too much on Mondays, and that's mainly because, the week's just started and the potential, I needed to tell me what's happening. Like, what do you want to do? Price needs to talk to me. And if it doesn't say diddly squat, it just sits around messing about, then, nothing for me to do. So then, so for every 15-minute high, I usually do this, right? And then of course we have the all-time highs up here, which you kind of also equate to relative equal highs. All right, so let's take a closer look at the potential lows that we would have to play with on the Monday, as well on the 15 minutes. So we got this one, well, this one too. So any like swing low like this, a higher, two candles with higher highs, and then there's a lower low, that's liquidity that can get swept. So we have a few things coming all the way down here. Given that I'm like bullish in the extreme, because we're at all-time highs, so why wouldn't I be? I'm going to note the sell side liquidity, and then if they take any of that, I'm looking for some sort of shift in structure. And man, I need to brush you. Just hairs in my nose, man. Just hairs in my nose. So I'm gonna just note all the sell side liquidity. So they made what looks like equal lows right there. Yep. And I'm just gonna duplicate and just note the rest of them. You know, just to have some points of reference for my setup because it does require me for liquidity to be swept and a shift in structure. And then now I'm looking for a second stage breakup structure to confirm things, as more importantly, especially in scenarios where the um the drop is so extreme and like for example, if this was like big juicy candles and it's just blowing through, 100 200 point drops, like I'm not going long in that scenario until I've had some extra confirmation. So, and that's actually saved me a couple of times this week when I thought something was going to be a juicy return, but I waited for the second stage and it didn't come and it just kept going down. Anyway, so easy target. Also good to know where the London low is. If they've already taken it, that's fine. I don't know if it was choppy. Okay, so so London lows on Monday was all the way down here. So the third one. So let's knit back over this way. And was there news on Monday? Let me check because no point in doing this if I'm not also paying attention to what the news was. Now, these are days I did not trade, so they're fair game for me to test things out. Oh gosh, she's knocked out, y'all. Knocked out. All right, so we've done a little prep. I'm gonna double check that I can still put the order in. Okay, good. So just as a reminder, I am using the Thinkorswim on demand feature. It basically moves price the same way that it would look like it's moving. Oh, sorry. Ha 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 ha. I didn't have the play button going. So price will move the way it moved on the day and the time. So it's a really nice way of back testing without knowing what happened next. So I can like, it's helped me like tremendously. Like I've gotten a lot more comfortable putting my order in, which has been my biggest issue. Although I will say Bob actually watched me dance around my entry for a short. I think it was on Thursday. And so I missed it because I was just like hemming and hawing. And sometimes you can talk yourself out of things, you know, you overanalyze it, and that's not great. Anyway, so my bad. So there was orange folder news at 10 o'clock on this day. So I'm going to push it forward to let's say 9:45. Because we don't have to watch like every single second, but I want to see. Oh, okay. Well, look at that. Oh man. All right. So by 9:45, and I would have been watching this, I wouldn't have taken anything here because there's there's orange folder news. I'm not as pressed when it comes to orange folder news, if I'm being honest with you, but at the same time, I'm also very cognizant that these news items can come and smack me in the face. All right, well, what do we have here? So it did sweep some liquidity here. I don't personally have anything in this that would make me want to take a trade. So I'm just literally watching here. I don't know. Was Monday that day where they just kind of like blew through everything and didn't give anybody a chance to get into anything? I don't actually recall if that's what happened with it. I'm being honest with you. Because I need a sweep of liquidity. So I had one set here. They made equal lows. And I'm pretty sure with this move, they also took out the London highs as well. So things I don't do is like after liquidity's been taken, I don't like, for example, if I was considering a short or a continuation long, I would not take it here because you're just taking liquidity. You could be trying to shift and go in the opposite direction for all I know. I don't know. So I have a rule. So the only time, like say this hadn't been taken and they pushed up and then returned back down, only then would I have considered like a long to take that high out and then maybe do some more. Also, if they're not taking out the lows, like London lows is all the way down here, they made equal lows instead of taking out the 50-minute low. Looks like a pretty strong push. Is that what happened Monday? We just pushed, and nobody got a chance in. I straight up suck at trading with all-time highs. I really do. I suck at it. I suck at it real bad. It's bad. Something to learn, to grow, to do better with, but it definitely is it's gonna take some time to get there for real for me. And that's fine. It's fine because we are all here to get comfortable as traders. All right, I'm gonna push this to 10 o'clock just to see what this orange folder news does because there's nothing I can do in this scenario. There's nothing that suits my entry model, my setup. Of just pushing up and up. So after 10 o'clock, right? If the news is okay, we're just going to keep going up, up, and up. The only thing I can consider for any type of entry or setup would be looking for, say, a fair value gap that's been holding price up. Something that I can use for an entry. So in this scenario, I'd have to like go to like the 1 hour. Like, what are we looking at? So, like, what are we dipping into? Hmm. So we already took out this guy, and that had been holding price up. So I don't know. Do I want to use that 1 hour fair value gap? When they're too big, though, it can get a little convoluted for me. Oh my God. Cuteness. Oh, hey. Hey, baby. What's up? The fact that she just sleeps and doesn't even like, you know, little cute little purrs and okay, okay, leg up. Just so yeah, I don't seem like a crazy person. This is what I'm dealing with right now. See the cuteness? She's basically sleeping, just adjusting herself. Anyway, Sasha's downstairs enjoying herself. Okay, so and no joke, looking at the higher time frames is so helpful. It really is. I sometimes look at, not sometimes, every day I look at the Dow, ES, and NASDAQ. And if they're moving in the same direction, it's a beautiful day because oh, get here. You'll get a lot more cleaner trades. But when they're moving in different consorts, it becomes way harder to get anything done. All right, so this is after 10 o'clock. That's what the news gave us. I got nothing to work with here, honestly. I wonder if something like this, so this would just be purely um like a silver bullets thing for ICT, right? Like looking for that one fair value gap that price is using as support. Now, I don't like that one because there's just too much going on with it. But this one right here, this one, I want to see what they do around it. Like this, we've not closed a body above this one. That's fine. But we've tapped this one. I want to see what it does. It's not really my favorite scenario. It makes me, these, make me somewhat nervous. Why? Because we have this very barely gap down here. There's also this bearish one that was that price used a little bit, but it blew through it and didn't bother to come back up to it. So, and my normal A plus setup works relatively, works pretty well. I'm still green on the year finally, if you can believe that. Like I'm up 600 bucks on the year and my win rate is at 34% and 34.82% approximately. Isn't that crazy? I've been fighting the whole drawdown break even thing like all year. The last time I got green was I think in July. And I was like, yeah, I was up 700 bucks or something. And but I was trading different. I was trading my old method where I was just um, taking two trades a day no matter what, and that's that. But the thing is, that wasn't really working out for me because I wasn't taking A plus trades. If I look at my journal, and I were to rate each of those trades, there were B and C trades. So now that I'm only taking my A plus setup, which means I trade way less than I did before. So if I'm trading two trades a day, that's 10 trades. Now I'm doing like 2 to 3 trades a week, you know? And that's way, way better because what happens is when I'm trading that, oh, what's up? When I'm just looking for my A plus setup, win or lose, the probability of me getting a winning trade is much higher than me trying to like catch something on what feels good, right? I need this to be boring. It needed to be massively boring. Okay, so it's what, 10:05, and we've popped back into this and we're wicking it. So here's the part that kind of mildly scares me about this type of trade, you know, because all these wicks, where all these wicks make me feel like, they're just gonna tap this and run away, right? So as a silver bullet, I'm supposed to be comfortable doing a buy here. Oh, hold on. Let me set my to auto send. I'm supposed to be comfortable doing a buy here, but I mean, I like to see like an order block. I like to see something that confirms the setup, right? But the wicking on this space makes me feel like, you know what? Perhaps I should be testing that out. Not to mention that my stop is below this, which is good. I don't know, this might just run away for all I know. I might have just missed it, but this could have been the trade that I could have taken with the fair value gap on Monday. Well, looks like I missed it because I was a little slow as always. But Wick, this is them showing us that they wanna continue up, and this is the fair value gap they wanted to use for that. But I was a bit slow on the uptake for that entry. Seriously? Okay. That's the problem with the fair value gap entry for me without an order block attached to it. Because my preference would have been if I had if they dipped into it a little bit lower, given me a down close candle and then ran up, I'd have felt better. The wicking though was a very big, clear statement that they were trying to go back up. But in this scenario, I don't catch this because I'm too terrified of this type of setup. But that would have worked beautifully. Find the fair value gap that they're using for support in the direction that price is moving, and then get in on that action. They gave me what? They gave me a hint here, so I rolled it out. They came in here, they wicked into it. They wicked into it. They gave me one, two opportunities to get in. So I put my entry in on this one, obviously missed it, and now they're gonna run up. But that's that's what happens when I try to do like a fair value gap silver bullet trade. Like I just miss it. But these are the indicators for that type of entry. You know, we were at all-time highs on Monday and they dipped into it. They used this fair value gap as support. They came back down and they wicked it. No bodies came into it, just wicks. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, okay, maybe I should put an entry here. But I'm so slow to make that decision because it's not my normal setup. But look at that. I mean, seriously? Now, if I was a different person, because we have another one here that they were using as support, but they just busted through it. There's a fair value gap here. There's this whole order block right in here. I don't know. Do I feel comfortable moving my entry now that I've missed this more ideal entry here? That's also something that is a bit hard for me to swallow, like a weird pill. I don't know. It's a weird, hard pill to swallow. Also, because there's a fair value gap down here and a bunch of juicy volume imbalances that they could dip into. But look at this other scenario too. Like, still another potential entry here once they busted through it. This one they've been using as support as well. And then look at that. Come on. Easy peasy lemon squeezy if I just taken this here. Wow. Okay, I gotta keep forward testing this. I gotta keep forward testing this because that would have worked. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit just to make myself feel better. Don't judge me. So this was at 10:04. Okay, I'm gonna push this back. Just I want to see. I want to feel good about recognizing it, but I want to actually I don't know take it. Let's back up. I want to take the setup. I want to take it. Don't judge me. Don't judge me, y'all. Don't judge me. Because I'm proud of myself for seeing it. I'm proud of myself for seeing it. So I wanna actually see if it's gonna okay, recognized it. Good. So this is just a me making myself feel good because I recognized the setup and the correct fair value gap in this scenario for a continuation up. These things terrify me though, because there's always, there's more down here. But, this formed above, they took out the buy side liquidity here. And then they showed me that, okay, they used it, popped, and then rolled back down into it. Wicks, wicks, wicks. If they'd put some bodies in there, then maybe I should have been more concerned at that point. But once they actually just, and we're just zooming in. And the fact that it's just wicks into the fair value gap. They took this low out, which makes sense. I love it when they do that. That's a good signature when they take the low out of the other wick and then run. Beautiful, like fine wine. I'm not great at the silver bullet. I'm not. So I'm glad that I was able to notice this. I definitely, for the love of everything, Monday morning, my God, I was like in the middle of multiple calls. There's no way in hell I would have caught this. But come on, like that reaction from that behavior as a continuation, because there's plenty more. We're at all-time highs. So going short for me, for the most part, is a thing that has to happen with multiple confirmations. Like I can't just go short in this very, very bullish um, market. So in my mind, like I needed to take out this high before I can move my stop to break even. But we already see what happens, right? But that would be the rule I'd be giving myself. Like once we took this high out, then I'd move my stop to my stop's down here. I'd move my stop to just above my entry, right about here, and then just let it be. Because otherwise, no touchy touchy. But I just wanted to get the feeling for being able to take this particular silver bullet setup and then noting that this other fair value gap, they were using it as resistance to continue down to bring them back down into this fair value gap. And then if they bust through this with some alacrity, with some bodies, with some strength, then a tap back into it to take out the high would not be a miss at all in this scenario. So yup. So nice. So I always have this desire. So right around here is where I would love to like set my stop so I can lock things in. You know what I mean? Like lock it in because look at that. You can see at the bottom the P&L. And I'm trying my best not to focus on the P&L. It's really hard because I can't switch it to like ticks. Hey Bob, what's happening? What's happening? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I'm testing out the silver bullet setup for all-time highs. This is Monday, September 29th at 10:08 using the on-demand. And I am quite impressed that I was able to see this. I was too, I was in meetings like all through, like there's no way in hell I would have caught this because I was like on calls the whole of Monday morning. 10 a.m. calls, 9:30 calls. It was just like no way for me to spot this. But this signature, fair value gap, they're running up, tap it, came back, wicks, just take it. Just take it in there and go. So I'm just doing that right now. So per my rules, I'm going to wait to move my stop until we take this high out. I mean, oh, okay, beautiful. Probably don't even need to move the stop. So I would move my stop to here, lock in a little bit more. And let's see, I think it even tapped it on that run, but it needs to actually run through it to actually get through that. We got 30 seconds left on that candle, so about around here is about my base hit space. So that's what, 890. Ugh. All right, Maddie. My poor little hand. So I'm hoping it wants to continue and run that one more time. I'm gonna expect them to stay below this fair value gap since they were using it as support, and then they use this as a launching pad for this propulsion block right here. So let's see. But I don't know if, let me zoom in. I don't think TOS would have kicked me out for that one yet. Oops, zoomed in too far. Nah, we need a body. Like it just tapped it with the wick, so it probably wouldn't have kicked me out. So a base hit would be around here, but I would need them to tap this and go that way before I try to make adjustments. So that's like literally the only potential trade for me, from my perspective, um, that I could have seen for Monday morning, especially with all-time highs. going. Maddie, you have so much hair, it's like getting in my nose. Oh my God. What am I supposed to do, y'all? What am I supposed to do? And she's literally sleeping. I'm literally just holding her up. I mean, what is up with this child? She'll just sleep like that. Like she'll just sleep and just put her whole weight. So I have my left hand. Look, my left hand is just holding her up. Look at her. It's holding her up. Like if I let go, she falls down. Straight up. That's you see where she is? If I let go, she falls. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Look at this. Look at that booty. What are you doing? What are you doing? So I can't even use my hands, y'all. I can't even use my left hand. All right, so what do we got? It's 10:12. So I don't know if we still have some more, to get up out of here. This would piss me off if this was a real trade and I was like, I didn't get like knocked out when it tapped me. Because they do love to knock you out, of your trade. It's like, what do they call it? Like the green and red line algo? They just come for you. They just run for your stops and stuff. They just know. All right, so if we push up this way, I'm gonna move my stop up here and lock in the base hit. But for now, this is like the only thing stopping me from getting my setup. I don't like this though. It's 2 minutes 45 left. Maddie, you cannot stretch like that. Come here. Ugh. Oh my God. Okay, you done? Good. Ah, no joke. So I think in this scenario here, if I get stopped out for here, then what do they say? Don't be a dick for a tick. I think I would have been a dick for a tick. Since they tapped me, I should just move my stop up here and be like, whatever. But my expectation is that since they use this as support, they'll tap it again and then keep going. But this 15-minute candle is not looking juicy for me. I needed to push up. It's got what, like a minute and change left in it, and that's not a sexy. Sorry, it's a 1 hour candle. Ha ha! That 1 hour candle's not looking sexy. So I think with any luck, this would have actually kicked me out already because it did tap it, but I think it needed to push through the limit order. So right around here is like base hit for me. If they push up with some what we got, like 50 seconds or so on the 15-minute candle. Well, this is a fresh 1 hour candle too, so it's got room to do what it wants to do instead of being weird. So the only thing standing between me and getting stopped out is what are we calling it? We're going to call it the AI that's using these areas as reference points. The algorithm, I don't know. Yes, I am too. I was feeling so left out, Bob. I already said this. I was like, dang, man, like the whole week, no trades though, like the whole week. Man, that hurt my heart. But you know what's really good though? The last time that I was green on my live account was, I think, in July. It was up $700 from one trade. And right, I wasn't trading just my A plus setup at that point, right? But now I'm trading just my A plus setup and I was green. Like I was up 400 at one point and then I took a loss for 200. I got slipped hard for 205. And Friday set me to about 600 up on the live account, which is juicy and a departure from the last time. The last two times I've been up and green on the live account because the last two times I've been up and green, I've quickly been kicked back down into drawdown. So that part really, really, really sucks. So I'm just wondering, I'm trying to decide in my head right now, like they've already kind of sort of tapped the buy side liquidity up here. They wicked it. I usually think they like to go back and put some body and some meat through it. I usually like to think that. They don't always have to, of course, but I like to think that they do like to like push. And we are in a very bullish space. So my general hope right now is that we continue back up. Otherwise, I'm going to end up with less than my full pull. And Bob, no joke, if I just put my stop at break even on Friday, I would have got my full 210 pull, all of it. I would have gotten all of it. Yes, I'm doing that. Don't be a dick for a tick thing. So I'm definitely being. With this move, I should just move my stop up and be like, I'll take 900. That's all right. We close enough. We close enough. But this 1 hour candle, man, like if they bust past this fair value gap, then I'm pretty much just screwed straight up. Because they can. My stop loss is in a fair value gap right here that they formed. So I'm about to get stopped out. Oh my God, look at that. That doji. That doji. Man, rude. But yeah, if I'd waited an hour, if I'd just moved my stop to just a little bit above break even and just let it sit, I would have got my full pull. Full pull. But that's all right. What is this? Oof. Man, the wicks do the damage, y'all. Be prepared. The wicks, they do the damage. The bodies tell the story, the wicks do the damage. That is the truth. Because the wicks is why I thought, a long from here would be good. We wicked into it, repelled. We wicked. I'm being a little facetious right now because I rolled the clock back so I could get in just to feel what it feels like to catch it. But these scare me I need I prefer to have like some sort of order block form in here for me to take it. But look at the wicking. If we stay wick and body above this thing, it's gonna continue up. If we close a body below it, then we'll continue dropping. This 1 hour candle does not inspire confidence though. Regardless, of whether or not in real life, if I'd taken this, I don't know if TOS would have tagged me out just with that little tap. I don't think so. So this is probably what would have happened because I would have moved my stop here and then just waited. So either I make $1,000 here or $300 down here. Win is a win. But given that I trade so little during the week, then it makes me feel a little a little salty to only make 300 when I'm only trading like a few times a week. But anyway, this is where I would be stopped out if this thing knows what's good for it. Yeah. Come on, stop it. There we go. All right, cool. So that would be my first silver bullet attempt on Monday. Let's recap that one really quickly, okay? So they swept liquidity down here. They didn't sweep the liquidity I wanted, but they did sweep it. They made equal lows down here, though. And then they ran up. They did sweep. They did do a shift here. Nothing I could get into, not really. And then it's after 10 o'clock. So looking for a silver bullet, basically a fair value gap that can help you get into a trade going in the direction of, going with the direction for the session. So in this case, up, 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 and away. Also, they'd taken this equal highs right here. So my rule is like once I take this out, I gotta see how they behave. Do they run away from it so they can continue up? Once they do that, like now I start thinking, yeah, okay, we're gonna continue on up. So what confluences did we have for this scenario? We had a very bullish push up. They took out some liquidity here. They didn't give me any kind of shift for a short because I'm looking for two-stage shifts, right? And they can't be wicks. Wicks don't help me with anything. Wicks just do damage and run away. So then they tapped this fair value gap, which is why I rolled it out. And then they wicked in it. Wicked, 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 wicked. This one is not as much. And then they also had this one that they were using as support for them to come back down into this fair value gap. Once they busted past this one with alacrity, and I know they're gonna come take out the next point of liquidity right here. And what I could have done in this scenario is my order is set to very specific things, right? 37 tick stop, which is just shy of what, like just shy of a $200 stop, so 185. And then 210 ticks, which is about 55 points or so. So about $1,000 and change. So the and change is to cover fees because I have a live account, I gotta pay fees and commission and all that crap. Anyway, so that's that. So let's nip to a different day. So I didn't trade this day. Let's nip to the PM real quick and see if there was anything that we could have done in the PM. So I always like to start looking at about 145. Let's take a look at 145. All right, what do we have? Oh, almost looks like we haven't moved. Okay, so the PM comes. Oh, they took all the lows I had set up. Okay, all right, I see you. So the PM comes, they've taken up all the lows all the sell side that I was looking at. Okay, so the only one I care about at this point is the last one because that's the one they've recently knocked out. So the question becomes, are they continuing down? Right? So what do we have? Do we have a shift? We have a shift here. I would need a second stage shift to go long. And what would I be aiming for? Because there's a lot of chop going on to make life harder for everybody. It's the 1 hour, so I'd be aiming for something inside of this bearish fair value gap up here. So let's see if we can get a similar situation with like the morning. Let's see if we can get either a second stage shift. Now I'm gonna note something that I've started to notice when it comes to chop zones, especially if the expectation is for it to continue higher or lower. Well, I guess it just depends, right? So let me note this. So what have they done? They've used this fair value gap as support to continue going in this direction. Tap, tap, no bodies. So honestly, if I'm being honest with y'all, this order block and this volume imbalance right here is what they've used as fuel to keep going this way. Look at that. That wick. I mean, even though this is a bit of a chop zone, it still sort of tells me that they want to continue to go back up higher. What do you think? At least that's what I'm thinking. And I'm going to switch this to 15 minutes. That's the 1 hour candle. So it's 147. So that's all I'd spec'd out for the morning, especially with it being so very bullish. So we're gonna either get a silver bullet, meaning a fair value gap that we can use for a continuation up, or we're gonna get something to give us a continuation down. And for me, that would be them dropping below this with body. And if so, where are they going? So the next area of interest for me is this 15-minute low. If they want to continue dropping. I don't know what they're gonna do. What they haven't given me is a second stage shift for me to feel comfortable go long. Even though this right here, this behavior inside of this fair value gap, it does scream somewhat bullish. Now, Bob, you were showing me the whole bull flag thing. I don't really understand that stuff a lot, but would this be considered, you know, or would it be the opposite because we're looking for higher prices, right? Like, so would it be the opposite if you draw this like little trend line? Like, would it be something like this? So I'm trying to understand because I like the one that you showed me the other day. So would it be something like this? Like once you break above that or something? I don't use trend lines, but I'm just curious. So if it broke above this, then maybe a continuation out. Speaking of which, speaking of which, areas of interest for me, or I should say, fair value gap of interest for me in this scenario, in this PM scenario, bullish PM scenario, and some way of getting past the chop zone here. Oh, well, that's fun. So, let me make sure I got that sorted out. So, right now, we're stuck between two fair value gaps. One of these, once broken, will tell us which way they want to go. And for me, I'm still very bullish, 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 bullish. I don't know if I'm feeling like super jumpy, you know, the fact that we wicked this, wicked, ran away, shifted, wicked into it, no real bodies, just wicking. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a long from here or the midpoint of this fair value gap would be okay, but it's not my setup, so we don't trade those. This now just becomes a feeling. Unlike the morning long, which was very clean, right? They gave you one wick into the fair value gap, and then another wick. Take that. This is confusing. So just need to get up out of here. I sometimes wonder if I'm being too rigid with my entry models too, because seriously, look at the 15 minute. Like that's not cute. And we still on Monday. But, there's a certain part of me, no joke, that would have wanted to take, given this behavior, would have wanted to take the long here at this little break right here. There's a part of me that would have wanted that because of this, because of this. But taking that trade inside of the chop just doesn't make me feel comfy at all. Because look at what we've done. We've made like a little range that we're sitting inside of, and then we've just been going back and forth. Every big green juicy candle has just been slapped back down with bearish candles. So which part of me is supposed to feel comfortable taking this? I don't know. Maybe when I'm, trading $100,000 account or much higher, and I can lengthen my stop loss out because I only ever risk half a percentage of my account. Then I might be like, well, boom, and then put my stop below here so that I'm, somewhat protected. And then this looks pretty juicy for a continuation long. Damn it. Look at that. Even though, and that's something that I wonder if like maybe I'm just not listening to myself enough because wick, no bodies past the midpoint, wick to sweep these guys out, similar to what happened before. So should I have been comfortable taking the long here? What would that have looked like? Oh yeah, and then that would have been fine because I would be thinking this wick right here would be the low I need to be below because it swept that one. Huh, okay. Oh, maybe I'll try that next time once I see it. But anyway, so secondary entry scenario is once they clear this fair value gap that they were using um as well, using it for its purpose, a bearish fair value gap to keep the price down. My preference would be if they drop down because there's a fair value gap here. But with all of this, I'm wondering if the usual fair that I have for these fair value gaps, because they've spent so much time painting in here, means that they don't need to come back down. I wonder. So we have equal highs up here. It's 154 on Monday. So okay, so technically we've hit a second stage shift now. So we had the first one here, we messed about, now we've shifted again. Survey says I should put my order here. But with this fair value gap, if we bust above here, I might feel like I should try. And I did this on Friday, and that's where I got stopped out, right? But we got two fair value gaps below here and one that's been used as support. Now, what could usually happen in this scenario, since I wasn't comfortable taking this setup right here, what could happen is I could, they could just run away and then never come back and give me an entry, which, let's be honest, happens to me quite often. But also, I don't need like an anemic close. I need like a juicy close. So my TP is in a decent place, midpoint of this bearish fair value gap. So I'm just trying to think through what I want to do because this has been acting as bearish support this whole time. So sometimes when you bust above it, you should be able to catch a nice long from, from the midpoint or the top of it. So it's about 155. Okay. So far it's still doing its job, still doing its bearish job. I like this better. I like when they come back and they tap the fair value gap below it. They don't need to close it, but they do need to touch it and then run away from it. Because now, if this pushes up, now I feel way more comfortable taking a long from here. Like it's when they form this and then run up and then don't touch it, that's when I get really, really nervous about it. So this is for a second stage. This is like where I would want my entry, but I'm willing to move it up here if we bust above here after tapping this fair value gap. Now the question is, does it run away without me once it does that? But I do like that. And sometimes when I see that, I wonder if I should just set my order there, you know? But then I get nervous that they're gonna come tap into the second one, which they have every right to do. They can close everything in. How much time is left on that? 3 minutes left on that 15-minute candle. So I'm gonna wait because it's messy. It's not exactly what I like, but it is a second stage shift, and it's telling me they want to continue on up because we're inherently bullish. They've dropped a bunch and taken a bunch of they took out London. That drop was taking out London liquidity right there. All right, so I'm just looking at this fair value gaps, and I'm wondering if this is the one that I'm gonna need to get the entry from right here. Ugh. And it's something I'm not a huge fan of. Like I'm trying my best not to move my stop around because Bob watched me like mess with my entry and miss a beautiful trade, on Thursday. So I'm trying my best not to do that. So this is what I want. So right now, I want them to bust above here. It's about to be 2 o'clock. And we've taken a bunch of liquidity out. So far, we've only wicked about the midpoint of this. So I'm gonna adjust my fears and set my entry at the bottom of this and hope that that's not a mistake. Because we're wicking the midpoint of this fair value gap, and we're staying about the midpoint of this one. So I'm gonna set it at the body, and let's see, because it covers this one. Oh, hey, Maddie. I know, like I'm such a scaredy cat. Like this scares me. Like making this adjustment to adjust my entries when they've run away. Because in my mind, I feel like they shouldn't need to come back to the chop zone. Really, Maddie? But I also don't like that they're like hanging around here. Oof. So given that they've moved, see, I'm doing it again. I'm moving it again. You see that? I'm moving it again. But I want my stop below this candle right here. Because it made a low, it took that one out. I think my stop can just be below this and it might be okay. What do you think? Stop. I know you're laughing at me, Bob. So either this is a good plan or my entry should have stayed here. So okay, I just got tagged in. Do we respect this low right here and run? Oh man, I just realized that 50-minute candle is about to close. Why would I get an entry on the 50-minute candle? Oh, that scares me. Like the end of when a candle's about to close, those are scary, man. Those are scary. Maybe 2 o'clock will hook me up and we'll book it. Ugh. Still looking good for this fair value gap. Midpoint, the bodies, no body has closed below the midpoint of this. So let's see. We in like Flint. So I'm trying to see if how comfortable I can get whenever I get to this setups. Because again, I get uncomfortable when there's fair value gaps down here. Yes. So if I was trading micros and I could reduce my the number of contracts that I'm trading, I could absolutely drop it to like 5 micros or 3 or something like that and put it below here. Yep, absolutely could do that. But I'm only risking 0.5% of my live account, so it's always 37 ticks. This candle or this candle isn't your stop supposed to be or below the previous candle? Well, something I've noticed, right? Like when they tap into fair value gaps and they're looking to move in the opposite direction, or I'm always expecting them to tap into the fair value gap. I'm looking at the wicks, so that's making me feel more comfortable. So my stop's in a semi-decent place because there's no bodies closing below here, below the midpoint. So my stop's in a semi-decent place. I'm not super happy about it because it is in the middle of a fair value gap, and my original entry was here. That's what I would prefer, if I'm being honest with you. But I'm also trying to see if I'm reading this properly. Again, what I should have done is like once it broke past this, because this fair value gap has been acting as um, support for the bearish push down. And we had a bunch of things here drop, and now normally the long should have been once we broke above here and then grab an entry at this candle here or something like that. But because I'm trying to get comfortable with reading the behavior in the fair value gaps and the wicking. That's why I like move my entry to here. Because if I took it here, it'd be below here, and then I'd be even more comfortable. But I'm just testing this out, especially since we've had a second stage shift, and I'm expecting them to. And actually, if I'm being honest, they've already tapped the order block through this thing, which is actually here. I always want the lowest candle, but the top of the order block is already here, and they tapped it with this candle right here. So I'm expecting them to move this way. They don't have to because they dropped nicely. They could just mess about and just be assholes about it, but we about to find out. But yes, um, if I could drop my contracts to something lower, I would set my entry and then put my stop like below the midpoint of this fair value gap. What I'm hoping for is that we've been kind of sitting at the midpoint of this thing that we're going to continue pushing up. And the important bit for me though is the simple fact that the wicking. So I like when they wick into the fair value gap wick, wick, wick. I mean, it makes me feel more comfortable about the entry because it's a similar situation as in the morning, right? It was fair value gap that they were using for a bullish fair value gap that they were using for support to continue higher. They wicked into it, they came back and tapped it two, three times and then ran. So that's what I'm looking for here. This is why this is, oh, and also, and this is me just recognizing this now. So we had an order block here, right? We had an order block here. So, they're wicking in. What does ICT call this one? My brain. Starts with an M. Anyway, so like this was used, these order blocks were used for bearish entries. Now it's like not reclaimed, but an order block that can be used in the opposite direction, basically. All right, so my general expectation now is once we push up, we took this high out, I can technically move, like we need to move with some alacrity, but I'm waiting to see, and I'm expecting some resistance because of this BS right here. But I need to see it push up a lot more. I'm trying to decide what my requirement for moving my stop is. So when it gets to 50% of my TP in the open P&L here, I'll move my stop to break even, just right below the midpoint of this fair value gap here. But I want it to push. So I'm trying to analyze. So it's actually quite simple. You just have to be able to notice it. Like I just want to be able to notice the fact that, okay, we have this guy, we pushed above it. For this scenario, I'm perfectly happy for them to come back and tap this candle right here if they want to do that. But they also need to push past this fair value gap with some strength because my TP's up here. So this is still Monday. Dang, I did not trade Mondays, so there was a nice, easy Monday silver bullet. This cat. Oh, so these candles are not making me feel super juicy about that long. Like, give me some expansion, some nice thick candles. Like, come on, quit playing. I know we got this crap to deal with. Let's push past it. Let's get let's get jiggy with it. You've only moved like what? What's that? 5 points? $200? Yeah. You only moved like 5 points. It's nothing. But I'm gonna try and forward test the fair value gap thing for this previous week and see if I can get comfortable taking those trades. Because it's something I've noticed a bunch. Um, the behavior with the wicking. Let's see. Okay. That 15-minute candle still got time. Okay, so like I said, I was expecting a return back in here into this fair value gap, tap this or this, and then a turn. If it doesn't do that, well, it wants to continue bearish then. But if it does do that and push up from here, then my expectation for this particular fair value gap would be doing its job. It's kind of why I haven't moved my stop yet. Like I need to see some strength. Like if I was going to wait for this entry, then I would have taken the entry at the top of this candle right here and been tapped in on this candle. So now I need to see them turn and go that way. But we are in a chop zone. It's trying to fight with that chop zone. Maddie, can you clean yourself elsewhere? You don't need to be on my lap for this. I know you're comfy. Down you go. Ugh. Wet kitty. Gross. All right. So I like the wick on that candle. We're still above the 50% of this guy, but I don't like that they left me this volume imbalance. So we'll see. And the strength of those candles just did not do it for me for that setup. It'd be hilarious if this is a similar scenario as Friday, where I took it too early. I stepped outside of my comfort zone and then took it too early and then had to come back in and, get that, fix that failure to come back again. Also, this 50-minute candle is crap. Look at it. It's got what, 6 minutes left on it? It needs to push that way. I know you're sitting on some support here. If it's continuing, we've got a nice 50-minute order block it just tapped into. It needs to push past this stuff with some strength, and this is looking weird, real weak. Real weak. So this might be me getting stopped out, and they might want to continue down. I don't know. Or I should have waited for my preferred entry down here. There's another reason why I have a hard time taking these. 'Cause look at that. Why? Why do we need to do this? NQ can be such a diva sometimes. I'm like, the whole week I've been bullish. Even when they've been dropping, I've been bullish. Even when I had a short spec out on Friday and missed it, I've been bullish. Okay, so we're back into respecting the base of this and the midpoint of this. Once this breaks above this high, then I can move my stop to break even for this one. But this is not looking like it wants to do that. It's looking like it wants to come down and smack me around for trying to do something different. These are the thoughts that get in my head when I get into these trades. Like I'm constantly like, second guessing myself in my head. And I'm like, shut up, Kara. If you're in, you're in, win or lose. That's it. It's technically still an A plus setup because I waited for a second stage shift, even if, no joke, shift, fair value gap, respecting the hell out of it. I really, really wanted an entry here, but it's so choppy. I hate those. So I did not take that. I did not. And then look at it. Look at that. Then it shifted a second time and then gave me a secondary potential opportunity. So I'm testing out how comfortable I am taking the trades from the fair value gaps without an order block. Technically, there is one here. So this is why I haven't moved my stop, because I need to see them show some strength going this way and bust through this fair value gap. So once it takes this high out, I'm gonna move my stop to just above break even, because I think I took it right here. I'll move my stop to under here. Still not quite break even, but it'll do the job. So this is looking a lot better. 3 minutes on that 50-minute candle. No guarantee they're gonna push all the way up here, but that's where my TP is. At this rate, I'm just going to be, what's what I'm looking for? I'm just going to be managing my stop. So either I get the full thing or I get some of it. Okay. So I really do wonder why NQ feels the need to come back down and mess with you. Like, why does it need to do that? Now, if I was being super duper, I'm just gonna mark this out. Oh, good. It closed. I'm gonna put my basically break even there now. So that's a win-win no matter what. So this is the equal highs right here. So I want to see how they behave around it. So I might be moving my stop to, once they bust past that, I might be moving my stop to hold on to some profits in case they want to turn around at that point. So let's see. Because they could just grab that and drop. Okay, so Paying attention to the Fair Valley Gap and the wicking around it gave me a secondary entry once I ignored this one. And I should have tried it because, but at the same time, it's not A plus. There's only one shift, and I was waiting for a secondary shift, like a clean one. Like this wicked through, but I didn't like that. It wicked through and then did this. This was better. And the question is, are they going to come back all the way down here, or are they going to respect this one? So with the wicking, I was trusting that they were going to respect this one. So by some luck, that's what they did. All right. So we haven't even made it to my base hit dollar value, which is about 525 approximately. So now we are just above, we got in right here, we're just above break even. So let's see what we get. Let's compress this. Fair value gap in here. And I mean, I don't know if they want to tap into that one. Maybe we get a nice push further up. We can get a little bit more out of it, perhaps. Mm, we'll see. We'll see. So we've tried two longs today, right? One, I think we should have been tapped out for the full run in the morning. I think that would have worked out nicely for us. And then now we're trying a similar scenario in the PM on Monday. Technically, I think this is the trade I would have taken because I try not to rush into anything in the mornings on Mondays. I don't know. I think I heard someone say at one point that it's good practice to not rush into a trade first thing Monday. It's better to get the lay of the land before you do get into a trade. And then, and that's that. Okay, so we're trying to fight past all of this. I expect it to not be a nice, easy run. Oops. New 15-minute candle. So we still we haven't gotten to my base hits yet. The sheer slowness of this makes me want to not, again, all up in my head. So let's see what they do with the equal highs. So what I'll do is like when they take the equal highs, if they bust through it, come back down, make a swing low here, and I move my stop here, and then see if we can get additional movement that way. So what do you guys think about that entry though? With it's messy, but two stage shifts have saved me so much. And then getting comfortable with taking the entry at the Fair Valley Gap where they're wicking. Would you consider that entry somewhat like precision or not? Now this is expected, right? Like for them to come back down even so far as to tap, let's move this over, even so far as to tap this guy. But this is one, two, three, four candles full. This is a whole order block right here. So, they could just tap this one and the order block at the top and turn around. So let's see what they want to do. The other piece is waiting, man. There's always so much waiting. So I had to start this a little bit early today because I'm gonna be helping my friend at one of her vending events where she makes body butters and oils and things. I'm kind of excited because I get to go and help her test out the process so she can do like a full presentation. So definitely check her out. Hello Wellness, amazing. Like my whole skincare routine, hair oil, everything is Hello Wellness. So I'm gonna go to one of her workshops where I get to make my own body oils and butters and stuff. I'm very excited because I have actually I've gone to three. I've made two. One I call Pomegranate Paradise. It smells like pomegranates. I love it so much. And the second one I called it Too Light by Mango. Because I wanted to smell really mangoey. And in mine, from my nostril, it wasn't mangoey enough. Yes, queen, yes. Let me tell you something, okay? So for years, I had the ashiest, and I am not too ashamed to say this, the ashiest legs, okay? I never lotion, none of that. None of that. My partner, my badminton partner would be like, you can't get on this court with me. You need to put some lotion on. He'd be throwing some lotion at me. It was bad. But now I'm like, so now I only have to do it once a day. You know what I mean? It lasts all day. So I'm like, right now I'm enjoying some white tea ginger and some magnolia lavender oil on my skin, and that's gonna take me all day of just moisturization. And yes, thank you, Bob. I'm a diva, okay? I want my skin to feel good and last forever and ever because it's the only skin I'm gonna have, okay, Bob? The only one. I gotta take care of it. All right, 220. Come on. Move. Move. Oh, it's just sitting there being annoying. What have we done? We're just sitting inside of this fair value gap. Okay, lies in the seat. We're sitting inside of this one over here. I even noticed that. Man, it's really important to like see where they've been holding price. So we need to get some bodies. Some bodies moving this way. Ugh, that 50-minute candle. How much time's left on it? 10 minutes, 9 minutes, and 15. Come on. All this, nothing is worse than when you're trying to get to your TP and it's trying to get through chop. Nothing's worse than that. You spend so much time waiting on them to do what they're supposed to do. So I'm going to cheat a little bit because I do need to, the the class starts at 1. It's now 10:37. I want to do another day at least of testing this testing my setup here. So I'm going to cheat a little bit and we're going to push this to, let's move it up 5 to 10, 20, 225. Let's see. What does that do for us? So we don't have to wait for everything, right? Like, yes, queen, yes. Okay, we're cheating because we already in the trade, right? We already in the trade. So that's why I'm like, whatever, let's move it up. So now I'm just gonna move it. I mean, no joke. We still haven't. Let me see. I'm gonna move my stop there. We still, actually, no, I'm not gonna put it, I'm gonna move it just above the this fair value gap because I don't really want it to come all the way back down. So they took the equal highs now at 10 at 225. So what I want to see is I want to see them expand past this and then give me an opportunity to move my stop up here. So I said I'd move my stop to these lows, but what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna make sure this fair value gap is between me and them. They've tapped it a little bit right here, so I feel comfortable, but I'm gonna leave it below the candle that formed it right there. It's just like right there. It's a little bit above break even. That's cool. And guess what? We just hit my base hit here on this, right at these equal highs. So what I would love for it to do now is push, 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 push. But of course, you know, that's liquidity they've just taken. They've taken some fuel, they've knocked out some stops, they've told people, I don't care about you. Retail, that's what they said. I don't know if that voice makes sense. Ha! Who cares? I be making weird noises, so don't tell nobody. I also shorten everything. Everything. And I think it's cute. I don't know if that's like a diva thing. Okay, so far, recognizing the silver bullet or silver bullet like scenario coupled with my normal setup would have helped me get into this long right here. This was a little scary, but my stop was way down here, so it's fine. And that was only 37 ticks. So what I found is like if I'm on point and if my entry's in the right place, like my stop almost never gets like touched, you know? It never really gets bothered. All right. 15 minutes, a minute and change left on this 15-minute candle. All right, I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I want to move on to the next testing. And since we're already in the trade, I hope you guys don't mind. Let's get to 2:30. 2 minutes. Let's go. All right. Okay, so new 15-minute candle. That last one was gross, as you can see. So I'm still poised to make money on this trade regardless, but the question is, do I make all my money? So now I want to see if we came back down into this order block. Here we are. We tapped it body. Can we turn around and go back up? This last 15-minute candle was disgusting. If I was being honest, like I could have just aimed for the equal highs and called it a day. And that's probably what I'm learning in this scenario is like they've moved a lot already. They don't need to move big, again in the PM. So I should have gone for the low hanging fruit, you know. But given that I trade so little, I was definitely not looking, expecting. I wanted them to dip into this fair value gap. All right. So this guy, I want to see if we push up. So that was 230, survived it. Let's push it forward to 235 and see if we got stopped out, y'all. So what did we learn? Go for the equal highs. You don't need to to push for everything. If I had gotten the entry down here though, then that would have been juicy, right? That would have been a juicy run, but it didn't have that second stage delivery I liked. So, all right, let's move on to another day. Let's go to Tuesday because I definitely did not trade that. And before we move to Tuesday, let's see, was there news and what time? So, the 30th, there was jolts at 10 o'clock. Okay, so let's nip over to 10 o'clock on Tuesday and see what we can do. So let's do a little cleanup. Let's get rid of all this stuff. And then nip over to Tuesday. So Tuesday, and we're gonna go with 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. As the news is hitting, so we know what we're working with. Okay. Oh, hello. Hey, bro. Okay, so 10 o'clock, we saw some downside. Ugh, still hanging out in this choppy space, man. Seriously. Don't like it. Okay, so news came and we just started running, maybe. Let's take a quick gander at where our, excuse me, let's take a quick gander at where our sell side is. Because I did not catch any trades on Tuesday. So they dropped. All right, so let's push this down. I mean, that would be the closest. The 15 minutes is my preference for trying to figure out the nearest area of interest. So duplicate. It's kind of hard with all these all-time highs, you know? Let's see here. So the closest 15-minute low is right there. We had more for it to dip into down here. There's one right here, but I'm not going to fight with that one. Fair value gap, that's been holding price here. So let's mark that out as like targets. Still bullish though. And let's just note this on the 15-minute. You know, I feel like I'm hearing Jurassic Park music. I think my partner might be watching it. Does love a good Jurassic Park. Let's zoom in here. So 10 o'clock news, we started running up. And only annoying thing about this box is that I can't just drag it down. I need to get it to the bottom there. It's got to be just right or else I might miss something. Let's push this back so we don't need to be so far over. Okay. All right, so now we're back. We're looking for silver bullet time, silver bubbles, silver bullets. Okay. All right, so we dropped a bunch, took a bunch of stuff out. Doesn't need to take that out. So that's one right there. And now we're running up. So question becomes, what can we do? Also, where is our buy side liquidity in this scenario? For me, it's right here. I also have equal highs up here, which are juicier. So this is just internal right here. So let's do some buy side liquidity. We're coming in after the news. So let's just note that. So I'd be waiting. News be messing me up, but I'd be waiting. And then equal highs up here. Nice. Okay. As always, after a nice droppy drop like that, I'm looking for a two-stage shift or some confirmation with a fair value gap. So shift, we just had a shift in structure here. There's a small one here, but I don't really trust that. And we've run away from all of this. And what I don't have yet is a fair value gap I can use. Let me see, what about this guy? Or I might, hold on. Let's see, what have we done around this guy? Because they're not all made equal though, for real. Like they really aren't. This one's not as clean. I don't like it, so I'm not going to use it. I don't like that one. It does not suit my purposes. I like the ones that are close to areas of changes in the state of delivery. So swift words, hard. Shift in structures, breakup structures, that sort of thing. So this guy, they were, poking around it a bit, and then they pushed above it, tapped it, and then ran. They sort of used it a little bit here, and then just kind of dropped. So for me, I'm not gonna use it. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't suit me. All right, let's see if we get a second stage shift. We did just drop. There's no fair value gaps down here. No joke. Like there's this base desire in me to want to take it right at the body right here. Fair value gap here, tiny one. So one here, one here, one here. Tiny. Did this guy tap that? It did. I just sometimes wonder if the small ones can give us what we need, you know? Look how perfectly that just rejected from that thing. So, this has been very bearish from Monday. So maybe the expectation is to continue lower. Quite possible. Actually, I think I said I was gonna try to keep this one to 2 hours. So we'll just do this day and then we'll close out. Oh man, did I forget to take my... I did. Damn it. Okay. Yeah. So this is why I wait for a two-stage because we've shifted here. I need you to pop up above here. It's after 10 o'clock. What fair value gap do we have that we could use for something juicy? Little guys like that don't really do much, but it's a curiosity of mine. We also have this semi bigger one that they've popped back down into that formed here. And sometimes fair value gaps that form um, after 10 o'clock are the ones you need to use. Sometimes. We've made equal lows here on the 15 to take these low out. The question I usually ask myself is it worth it for me to go short in this space? Um, would I get my 210 ticks of TP? You know, if it's not gonna give me that, I sometimes don't bother. Maddie's found my hot pad and she's snuggled underneath it. She's getting her sleep on. I think I had this vague recollection of thinking, we can continue, we tap this little order block and stuff. A continuation down wouldn't be terrible into this one because this is just an internal liquidity right here. Let me think. If we bust below this, maybe, but it's not my A plus, so gotta wait. And how much time is left on this 15-minute candle? Wick, wick. I prefer if there were bodies and not wicks. Like those things make me nervous. So either I get a second stage shift above here to come take that out, and this time I'll adjust my TP to go to the expected areas of interest. Also, things that bother me. We've got this big fair value gap up here, and this one down here that's, newly formed and been whipped into. So just gonna wait. Just gotta wait. But if you look at the P&L, which says 375, like two decent trades that would have netted me over 500 each time. Maddie, don't don't step on my laptop. Jeez. Swear to God, this cat. Just get on my lap. No laptop. I don't know if she's just trying to kick me off of all of my streams. I can't tell you. There's still 5 minutes left on this very, very bearish looking down candle. And there's this part of me that is like thinking to myself, "Did you- well, girl, you were just sleeping over there. What are you doing? What are you doing, pretty girl? What are you doing? Okay, you want to sleep here. Got it. So I like this, but I don't like that. This looks like we want to continue down. I don't like that we had this week, then this week, and then we're so much further up the midpoint of this week. So we're just gonna wait. Just gonna wait. 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 I'm just gonna wait. So I'm really tempted to push this like a minute or two forward. It's kind of cheating, but that's all right. I also like to watch ES and the Dow. Okay, so in this scenario, we've shifted, we've come back down to the initial area of entry that I would like. I'm not gonna lie to you, like if this busts through here, because I don't have a second stage shift, if it busts through here, I'll take a short, like midpoint of that wick to take that out. Actually, to see if they want to drop this way. Because this is like a new like signature to tell me they're trying to go like a continuation in this direction sort of thing. So let's see. But they have to clear this thing. So very soft and warm and adorable. These babies, I swear. Yeah. So it's after 10. This is one fair value gap. The thing is, I'm not really seeing others that are like really doing the job that I want it to do. I'm trying not to assume things about candles. Like, don't assume you know the way the candle is going to close, because we don't. We absolutely don't have a clue as to how they're going to close. Because I would have assumed this was going to drop below here and close nicely. Did it? No, it sure did not. Are we like enjoying some choppiness right here? It's not super choppy, it's just a little choppy though. Hmm. I gotta cut your murder mittens. Let me see. Eh, I don't need to cut them just yet, they're not so bad. Okay, so got nothing at the moment except for this insane wick. Let's grade it. Where are they stopping in this wick? Let's grade it. Let's grade it because I'm interested to know. But these wicks can also be used as like, kind of like fair value gaps too, you know? Let's set the 25%, the 50. Okay, so we're kind of hanging out at the 50% of this wick. And this candle's going to close in 30 seconds approximately. So if we close below, then maybe an entry from the 50 down wouldn't be bad, which is approximately just below the midpoint. Maddie, you can't just push me with your leg and think you're gonna stay on my lap. Ridiculous. All right, I'm gonna take that off because sometimes there's too much on the screen. It just drives me nuts. So my setup requires a shift in structure, and now I'm looking for a second stage break of structure to confirm the change in direction. Because right now it's still looking like it wants to go down. Now, if I was taking an original stage entry, I would have taken it at the body of this fair value gap right here. But I need that second stage, the break of structure to confirm the setup. Otherwise, then we can now look for a bearish continuation setup uh, to take out this intermediate low, equal lows right there, and maybe come down into this fair value gap that's down here as a target. Like I gotta brush her. It's too much hair. All right, where are we at? So we have a new 50-minute candle, and I want to cheat and move time a little bit because this is taking its time. Oh, let's readjust something. So we have this, they dipped into this. And, oh, okay, it's all the way down here. Okay, lovely. The bearish fair value gap, they tapped it and then dropped here. That's better. So if they bust above it, then I can take a long to take these two highs out approximately. Hmm. Ugh. Odd. Just got a weird poopy whiff. It's not you. There's no poop. There's no poop smell. There's no poop on our butt. Sorry, guys. I'm saying poop a lot. Poopy, 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 poopy. Okay, let me stop. Obviously, I'm getting like low crick, right? All right, so do we get a second stage shift from here? So what we're looking at, it's not pretty though. Like, why we gotta do all of this though? Why we gotta do all of this? So annoying. NQ is really a diva. She really is. She's such a diva. Now, if I trusted my initial entry, let me see, would my initial entry have been my stop? Would it have been able to withstand that movement? No. I would have been stopped out. But these are some big candles though. Some really big candles. Hmm. I'm wondering what. Oh, they tapped into this tiny, 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 insignificant. But they tapped into it. Hmm. All right, so let's see what we do. Nice push up. Need to shift again above this thing. If we don't, then we're just tapping into this order block and then dropping, which we've done here already once. Well, this one formed it, so once on the 15, tapped it again on the next 15. So I have my lines set in the sand here. If we bust past here, I'll take a short down to here. If we bust past here, I'll take a long to here. So it's just that simple. Just gotta find areas where price might invert the fair value gap, turn it against its normal process. So if it's a bearish fair value gap, it should support price down. If it's bullish, it should support price up. But if you invert it, then it should support price in the opposite direction of its normal function. Normal function. I didn't check. Oh yeah, the news was at 10. That's why we started at 10. So we don't have a second stage shift. I guess you would call this the beginnings of a head and shoulder, right, Bob? Like, here's one, here's the top, and this is the shoulder, the bottom. Mm. And that 15-minute candle, I don't know, this seems like price action I would just skip, if I'm being honest with you. Let's move this to 10:30. Let's move it up 5 minutes and see what we got, because I'm gonna need to go soon. Yeah, if we're gonna sit in this range this entire time, yeah, no thank you. All right, let's skip to 10:35. So this is price action that I just avoid. I avoid it like the plague. I avoid it like the plague. What have we done? It's 10:35. and we're pretty much in the same space. So this is the chop that I just say, you know what, I'll come back in the PM and I don't bother with this. So let's do that. Let's nip down to the PM. Let's nip to 3:35, 1:35, sorry, in the PM. Oh God, seriously? All right, so we've nipped to the PM. Only thing I'm going to say about this is I'm just going to pull this way. Is that? Yeah, it's a different candle. I'm gonna pull that this way. And then let's dig into what's happening here in the PM. So this was a crappy day to trade, obviously. Like, look at all this disgusting chop. Like, why would you want to be in the middle of any of this? Yeah, this is a shitty day of trading. And no joke, this, with this, I would have taken it here. Let me see. Would that have been, and my stop would have been fine. I would have taken it at the base of that, and my stop's up here. I'm saying I want to see if they want to roll back down here. It's 147. We've not taken this low out. Might not even come back up this way. But that's what I would have done if I didn't just move price forward. The only thing I don't like about this is this fair value gap above this guy. So I might do that. Give myself a little more room. No, just put it where it's supposed to go. At the bottom of this. Right there. That's where it's supposed to go. So if it gets stopped out, it's fine. If I don't, it's okay. Whatever. Also, I'm not a huge fan of taking anything once we've taken the lows. So these types of trades are just not my forte, but let's see. Because once this broke below here, I would have taken it here anyway, so I want to see if that would work out. Or if I just get stopped out and they pop up to this thing. Oh, it didn't tag me. Rude. I mean, it wicked into it, into my entry. So this is the Thinkorswim on demand feature, so it doesn't have to, tag me, but the important part is that I set my order. What's gonna piss me off is if it does this and then just drops from here and just, but I think that would be more than enough to get me into the setup for sure. But with this type of behavior, I mean, it probably comes back up one more time. It's very, 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 very choppy. Here is my TP. Damn, I pushed it even further, didn't I? Especially on a bullish day. I don't know, man. Well, on a bullish season, I suppose. It's gonna take a miracle to get through all of this. Let me not be, let me not be cheap. Let me just do that. Yeah, this type of setup does not scream, yay, let's do it. Yay. Okay, so this feels like it wants to tap back up further because I would have preferred this and then a drop. So it's probably going to be a stop out on that one. Now, this is what I would call a C setup. because of the sheer shittiness of the day. So don't take these, especially when it's doing this stuff. Yeah, this is a bad play. Like instant stop out. And with that, I am deviating away from my A plus setup, so I will probably close this one out so I don't continue doing silliness. In the meantime, enjoy some adorable Maddiness while I get stopped out and just before I close this out. Right, sleepy girl? She's so sleepy. Oh my goodness. 141. Yeah, definitely gonna get stopped out on that one. So part of my rules is to never take setups, especially when they've dipped so low in this space. Just never take setups like, especially when they've taken out all this stuff. They took this out. So this was just me not thinking at all. So yeah, definitely not a good place to be. That's fine. I did also say that it always makes me nervous to take anything when there's a fair value gap above me. Never like that at all. Even if it works out, it's not, and I get the win, it's not great because the win is not based off of an A plus setup, and technically just I would say I would call it luck at that point. A little Maddie luck. But I don't think we get that luck. We get stopped out and then we close out for the day. So just giving the cuteness overload of the sleepy Maddie to anybody who wants to enjoy it before I close out. So this reiterates why I don't take these types of setups because it's not my A plus. I didn't get a sweep of liquidity. Well, we did, but then why would I go in the opposite direction of the sweep? Got to wait for that break of that market structure shift, and then another break of structure, and then voila, I'm out. You know, and there we go. Stopped out. There we go. All right, guys. I am going to go chill before I have to run off to go make body butters and oils with my friend with her totally organic, um, all natural ingredients. And I have a sleepy Maddie here to say bye to you all. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. She is purring like a little kitten. She's like a little purr. A little purr. Am I waking you up by rubbing your bells? Am I? It's okay. It's a little baby. All right, y'all. Oh. All right, y'all. I'm gonna end this stream here. Remember what I said about, hold on, let me do this. Remember what I said about fair value gaps and above areas, and this is where my entry should have been. But I took this here with this BS. Like this is better, but still not great. But anyway, I'm gonna go relax a little bit before I have to head out. So you enjoy the rest of your day, and Maddie's gonna continue her nap. And ooh, look at that stretch. Wow, there, look at those, look how long they are. Look, it's just stretched out. And she's just sleeping. Look at her. Oh my God. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here. Have a wonderful Sunday and a great week of trading until I see you next time. Shakira.